Hey everybody, it's your buddy the Neon Wrangler, and I am back to tell you another story from my life. Now, as I've said before, I've had many jobs and done many things through the years, anywhere from a medical illustrator to a police officer to a cook to a janitor to a computer programmer. A lot of different stuff. I've lived in Alaska, I've lived in Colorado, I've lived in Illinois, I've lived in Georgia, I've lived in North Carolina, I've lived a lot of different places. So I have a lot of different stories. Today's story is about an evil gang that menaced the Alaskan suburbs that were known as the Weavers, okay, and my experience with them. Now, this was probably when I was about 9 or 10 years old, and I had a good friend. His name was John, and John was a great guy. We, hung out all the time, and played and had a great time as kids. Except John had one little interesting character issue is that he loved to lie. Okay, and he would lie about this, he would lie about that, and he used to tell me lies like he had a special screen that could hide campfires if he built one. He'd sneak out of his house at night and sneak away to the park across the street and build a campfire and put the screen around it and roast marshmallows there at night and get home in the morning before his parents would find it. Stuff like that that was pretty fun. But the most interesting story John would tell was about the Weavers, the evil gang that menaced the neighborhood. Let me show them to you. This is a young neon wrangler here being menaced by the evil Weavers. Now, let me tell you the story about them. One of the things John would warn me about here now and then is this gang, the Weavers, where they were so evil or whatever that they would sometimes catch kids like us and take them out in the woods and kill them, and you know, various things like that. Do all kinds of things. And John and I could be playing one day in a house or outside or something. And he might see a gash in a tree or a ripped piece of drywall or something broken. And he said the Weavers did it. The Weavers did that. And I'm like, okay, John. I didn't really totally believe him. It was a little scary, but it's fun to be scared when you're a kid. So I listened, and this went on for a while, and I didn't take it very seriously. One day, we're sitting out in my my front yard. We're playing out in my front yard, and this panel truck rolls by, comes down the street and rolls by. Big white panel truck, like almost like a moving truck. And I remember it was white, and on the sides were green lettering. The green lettering said "The Weavers," and that like what? And then as this truck passes by, the back of the truck is open, the big door is open, and there's at least a half dozen guys sitting in there. Now, they were all dressed looked like Boston Westies. They had like the cabbie hats and the leather jackets, and they were sitting on boxes and sitting around, and they were looking out the back of the truck, and they looked at us, and they were smiling and all this kind of thing. And I tell you what, my ass dropped right through from my, excuse me, my ass, my heart dropped right through my ass onto the floor. I think I went pale. I looked at John, and he goes, "That's them." This is what. I couldn't believe it. Here's this truck. Not only is say the Weavers, but these guys look menacing as hell. It's something kind of along these lines. I don't think they had pistols with them, obviously, but it was scary as hell. You know, um, and just to differentiate, when I say Westies, I don't mean this kind of Westie. I mean that kind of Westie. But anyway, so we freaked out and we went. I think we went running down into the basement, and for the next few days or whatever, we started making our Weaver combat contingency plans. We carried our little pocket knives with us. I think we might have sharpened some sticks. We coordinated how we'd get home to and from school, which was pretty stupid. If you could actually see the school from our houses, and all we had to do was walk across a park. But we had to figure all that out, um, so that these Weavers wouldn't get us. Well, this was on an Air Force base, by the way. We both lived on an Air Force base because our dads were military, and I'm a military brat. Time came, sad day came. John had to move, and so I said goodbye to John that night, and but before he had to move because his family would be leaving in the morning, and I got up and went to school, and they had gone. I don't know if they drove off or went to the airport, but they had left. and I went to school, and then I come back home and that afternoon, and the moving trucks are at John's house. And I don't know if they still do this in the military, but I seem to remember them doing all the moving for us. I think they would pack it and move it for us and stuff. I don't remember exactly, but I remember we never having to do anything. My parents did some, but I mean, they took pretty good care of you. And the moving trucks were in front of John's house, and on the side of the moving trucks was they were those big white panel trucks that said the Weavers on them. Now I don't know what kind of fresh hell breakdown John had when the Weavers pulled up, if any. What happened, when these people came to move him and his family. I wasn't there. I was at school or wherever I was, or if even saw them. But I can only imagine him hiding under the bed or running down the street or freaking out or something like that. But so these evil weavers came to uh, be, turned out to be a moving company, and I don't know why they all dressed the same. Maybe they were all related, and it was just maybe slightly a marketing gimmick, or it was just practical to wear that stuff for those times. But anyway, this is how the story of the Weavers resolved itself. I'd kind of before that kind of figured out it was probably something legit. Most secret evil gangs aren't gonna sneak around, with panel trucks with their names on them and do dastardly things like kill kids and destroy property. And even John even told me a story about one kid where the Weavers had caught him and cut out his bicep. I don't know why they would do that, but that was a story. They caught him and cut out it. So I don't think there's many moving companies that cut your biceps out. Maybe they're worried about 9-year-old little kids competing against him in the moving business. But so anyway, John moved out and a new family moved in. Now here's an epilogue. This is interesting. This new family moved in, and it was I remember there was a teen girl moved in there. I don't know how old she was. She was way older than me, but and she had another friend that she had made, a teen girl, and they used to brag about their boyfriends down in the states, lower 48, like Missouri or California, and they were always talking about their boyfriends, bragging about their boyfriends, and then um, they started talking about they were able to have sex with their boyfriend last night and all that, and it was kind of confusing. And one of them even claimed, "Oh, I got pregnant by my boyfriend last night." Well, these guys are, 3,000 miles away, and we're like, "How do you do that?" And they they informed us that it is possible to do it by mail. They send you little tubes, and you're able to do whatever. And being a 9-year-old, oh, okay, sounds weird, but good enough. So uh, I had John the Liar replaced by the teen girls who were very proud of the fact that they had boyfriends 3,000 miles away and had scientifically discovered a way to do it by mail or whatever that was. But anyway, that story is in and of itself. But anyway, this is a story about the Weavers, and thanks for stopping in. Do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, and I'll sure appreciate it. And I'll see you next time with another true story of stuff. Bye bye.